Salutations everybody, it is Matty here today with a Star Wars news update. It's been a while since we made a Star Wars video on the channel, and with Star Wars Celebration coming up, I'm hoping to start ramping up that part of my content. Today we are going to be talking about VISCERAL'S Star Wars game, which is rumored to be revealed at the Star Wars Celebration event. For those who don't know, Star Wars Celebration is an annual event to naturally celebrate Star Wars, and it's taking place in Orlando this year. It goes from April 13th to the 16th, and I really wish I went because maybe there could have been someone I could pull aside and talk to them about why we don't have fucking KOTOR 3. KOTOR crying aside, these rumors come from Jordan Mason, who is editor-in-chief in Cinelinx. They previously leaked that Battlefront would have Rogue One DLC, so there is a bit of credibility here. Jordan says, so, sounds like the Visceral Star Wars game has an actual honest-to-goodness trailer done. Should debut at Star Wars Celebration. He also follows that up for those who are curious, saying, from what I've heard, the bulk of the Star Wars Celebration gaming presentation will be about Star Wars Battlefront 2 and proving it is a different/better game, which doesn't surprise me at all. Star Wars Battlefront was initially revealed in 2015's Star Wars Celebration event, so it only makes sense that Battlefront 2, which is lining up apparently through conference calls to be bigger and better than the first one. I'll save my opinions until the trailer and information for that game is officially released from EA and DICE, but for now I wanted to discuss Visceral's Star Wars game because there hasn't been much talk about it. The reason I'm particularly excited about it is because I expect a certain type of game from Visceral based off their history with Dead Space. These are gritty, dark, bloody games, and to think of that in a Star Wars universe would be absolutely awesome. Now, while we did see a small snippet of this game, and it didn't really indicate anything from the Dead Space universe of its darkness and its gore, I still think that there is a lot of potential in this studio here. They have been quiet for so long, they've really been biding their time as DICE has fielded all of the Star Wars publicity through Battlefront and its DLC. This game has been in development for a seriously long time. And on top of expectations, Amy Hennig, the former writer for Uncharted, is leading the charge with this game's story. Now, while I am not the biggest Uncharted fan, I absolutely respect that this is a franchise loved by many and is incredible for some, and it's one that I personally like the first two, but after that, number 3 didn't really click with me that much, and to be honest, I've never played the fourth one. Still though, Amy is a proven writer. She can clearly create a good and compelling story with interesting and charismatic characters. That alone has me excited for Star Wars, because if there's one part of the Star Wars franchise that hasn't had a lot of justice, it's its gaming department when it comes to story. There aren't many standalone Star Wars stories within the gaming that have been something to really marvel about, outside of Knights of the Old Republic, of course. Alright, I'm gonna stop now, but seriously, you guys get the point that I'm excited to finally hopefully get a good single-player driven Star Wars game, something that'll really bring me back to my childhood where it seemed like that's all I freaking played at the time, whether it was Star Wars Bounty Hunter, Republic Commando, Jedi Knight, Jedi Academy, Jedi Knight, Jedi Outcast, and so on. These were fantastic games I played growing up, and I'm excited to see that start up once again. What am I hoping for? Personally, I'm really crossing my fingers on your character being customizable in the sense of the tools you have, the weapons, the armor, skills, how you approach certain situations, almost like a Tomb Raider-esque Star Wars game. That's one part of gameplay that I've always felt was lacking in Star Wars game, was the customization, was choosing how you tackle certain situations. And I think with how gaming is nowadays, people want that more hands-on experience. They want to tailor how they play the game, and that seems to be the way developers are making their games, where they like to open up the play space and let the player decide how the situation's going to go down, whether it's stealth, open combat, and what tools they're going to use to get that job done. If I were to make a comparison on what I'm thinking of, as well as in the terms of tone and style, I'm thinking along the lines of Star Wars Bounty Hunter. This is a game that was more dark, not in the terms of story, but just how its levels were created and how the plot presented itself over time. And its style was a lot more of what I was alluding to earlier, which was gritty. It wasn't the flashy Jedi gameplay that we were accustomed to. You were a bounty hunter, you were shooting the hell out of people. It was cool, but I'm saying that it was a different type of Star Wars game at its time, and that's sort of what I'm expecting from Visceral. The last hope I have is the authenticity of Star Wars Battlefront, but not the obsession. That is what, in my opinion, really tanked Star Wars Battlefront, was their focus and eventual obsession on trying to get everything to sound like the movie. Don't get me wrong, it improved a lot of the experience, but at the end of the day, it became a very shallow title because it didn't have enough content to back it up. And while it was an eargasm, eventually you get used to it and you realize there's not much of a game behind that. Where with Visceral's Star Wars game, I would like the authentic sounds and looks, but not to the obsession that they are sacrificing an entire campaign to get that authenticity. Anyway, I wanted to deliver the news and my wishes on top of that about Visceral's Star Wars game possibly being revealed at Star Wars Celebration. I'd love to hear your thoughts on this in the comments down below. Other than that, be sure to follow me on Twitter, like me on Facebook, the links are in the description down below. Do consider supporting our Patreon. It helps fuel all the content we create here. Other than that, stay sexy, stay active. I love you all. Peace.